My ex's new girlfriend tried to ban me from my library seat until I showed them who really owned it. So I'm sitting in the campus library at my usual spot when this girl marches up like she's serving me a warrant. I've sat here for 3 years. Third floor, corner table by the windows. She plants herself in front of my laptop and says, "You need to leave, now." I recognized her immediately. She was my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend. I think they'd been together maybe 4 months. I pulled out my earbuds and asked what her problem was. She crossed her arms and said, "This is my table. You're harassing me by being here." I looked at the 8 empty chairs around us and said she could sit literally anywhere else. She pulled out her phone, snapped a photo of me, and said, "We'll see about that." Then she walked away like she'd just won something. Here's the thing. After my ex and I broke up last year, this library table became my lifeline. Our relationship ended messy, and he said I cared more about my grades than him. Maybe he was right, but after everything fell apart, I couldn't stay in my dorm room. Too many memories. So I came here instead. Every single morning at 7 when the doors opened. This corner table with the good light and the quiet atmosphere became the only place I could think straight. Some days I didn't leave until midnight closing. I never once saw my ex or his new girlfriend here during our relationship. He studied at his apartment, but apparently none of that mattered now. 3 days later, I got the email. I couldn't believe it when I saw the subject line, "Student conduct violation, mandatory hearing." The library director wanted to see me immediately. There was a formal complaint attached, 6 pages. The new girlfriend had filed a report claiming I was engaging in stalking and territorial intimidation. She included dated photographs of me at the table. Tuesday with my biology textbook, Thursday with my coffee, Saturday with my notebook. She said these proved I was targeting her on purpose. Her complaint stated that my ex had mentioned his girlfriend's favorite study spot during one of their recent dates. That's when I realized how serious this was. A harassment complaint goes on your permanent record. Graduate schools see it. Future jobs see it. My whole academic career could get destroyed over a library table. I had 48 hours before the hearing. I spent 2 days gathering evidence like I was preparing for an actual trial. Printed everything, which ended up costing me $15 I didn't have, but I'd eat ramen for a week if it meant protecting myself. The hearing was in the director's office. My ex and his girlfriend were already seated when I arrived. She had a leather folder and he had his arm around her looking supportive. The director sat behind her desk and said, "Let's resolve this quickly. I have 12 other meetings today." The girlfriend opened her leather folder and started presenting like she was a lawyer on TV. She laid out printed screenshots in a neat row. Me at the table on 6 different days. She said the pattern proved premeditation, that I was clearly stalking her through strategic seating. My ex nodded along and said I'd always been obsessive during our relationship. The girlfriend said she felt unsafe in the library now, that she'd had to change her entire study schedule because of me. She demanded I be banned from the 3rd floor permanently. The director looked at me. "Do you have a response?" I opened my folder. First thing I pulled out was my card swipe data. Every student has to tap their ID to access the 3rd floor study section. I'd requested my complete history from the circulation desk. The printout showed 912 check-ins over 3 years. I slid it across the desk without saying a word. The girlfriend started to speak, but I held up my hand. I wasn't done. I was getting serious about this unserious situation. Next came my work-study documentation. 2 years ago, I'd worked for the library to help pay tuition. I served on the student furniture committee. We picked out new study tables and chairs. The director had been at those exact meetings. I watched the realization flash across her face. Then I showed the email thread. April 2 years ago, the committee voting on new furniture. There was my name supporting the corner window tables, the long ones with built-in outlets. Finally, I pulled out the photos. Delivery day. Student workers helping unload the truck. The library's official Instagram photos showed me carrying that exact table up the stairs. Another shot showed me positioning it by the window. The director pressed her lips together. Her face turned red. She stood up suddenly and said, "Excuse me one moment." She walked out of her office. We could hear her laughing in the hallway. Full belly laughs. When she came back, she sat down and looked straight at the girlfriend. "You're claiming ownership of a table this student personally selected, purchased with university funds, physically carried into the building, and positioned in that location 2 years before you ever stepped foot in this library?" You could literally hear the Law and Order dun-dun sound effect in the room. The director dismissed the complaint immediately. She told them filing false reports was a conduct violation. Then she looked at me and said, "That table is yours. You literally built that study section. Case closed."